Yeah, dog. Welcome to Wreck to Riches. I'm Thomas G here. Don't forget to pound that like button. Drop a comment and always remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a professional. These are my personal opinions. Don't try this at home. So I'm going to do a quick review on the Highest of Stakes movie. If you don't know what the Highest of Stakes movie is, it's basically the Richard Hart and investors movie they put together, just talking about their experience with Hex and pretty much picking Richard Hart's brain, getting to see a documentary on the entire journey of Hex. And I was able to order it on Prime. I think it's like Amazon Prime. I rented it. I didn't buy it. Probably watch it again today. Just maybe I'll have a different taste in my mouth after. So to be honest with you, I was sick to my stomach. Like, I paused it. I would pause it, call my wife over, be like, babe, come here. Listen to this. And the timing of the movie was horrible. That's my first thing I want to say. Absolutely horrible. No, I don't care that we're in the middle of a bear market. I mean, right now, Bitcoin's got some life in it, Ethereum. There's some altcoins out there, big market cap players that are doing well, while Hex is completely wrecked. And the entire Hex community is in shambles. I mean, people are jumping ship, and I don't blame them. If you go on Google right now and type in Richard Hart, the news that's the latest news in the past day or so, it's obvious he's on the run. Not on the run like from the law or, wanted dead or alive. He's evading the SEC in the court case. He's making it hard for them to serve him. But the entire movie, it just, the time it took place and the events that happened are just like, whoa, dude. Like, it pretty much kicking people while they're down. You got RG3 on there, which I got mad respect for him. He was a big influencer, early investor. Hex was a hardworking man. They give you the whole story. But he lures one of his best friends into Hex to pretty much buy the top. Puts like his entire life savings after selling a home. Puts about $100,000 into Hex at the top. Pretty much the top, about 41 cents. And not even halfway into the movie, they're showing that his 41 cent entry, it dropped down to about 22 cents. And then like shortly after they show and Richard's bragging about, we're at all-time highs, 22 cents. So they kind of jump around between different time periods on the movie, which I think they did that to kind of throw you off, because you're seeing him buy at 41 cents, and then you're seeing him wrecked at 22 cents. But then Richard said it's new all-time highs. Who knows why they did it in that sequence? But if you were there, like I was there from the very beginning when Hex first launched, you know what it is. And this guy goes from 100K value in his purchase in Hex all the way down to when he sacrificed his Hex for a pulsechain. It was roughly worth about like $41,000 or so. Like, he was completely a 50% drop. It was bad. But the worst part is you're looking at it now. He was down more than 50%. Sacrificed that Hex at that value. Waited 2 years for pulsechain. And has been wrecked ever since. Like, we're below sack price on pulsechain and PulseX. PulseX is like the worst. It's the worst right now. It's like super wrecked. But ultimately, we're down on the sacrifice on pulsechain. So he's down even more. He turned his money into literally pennies. And I feel bad for the guy, because now you're watching a video that its entire purpose in the movie was to bring mass adoption, more eyes to Hex. Thank God it didn't get on Netflix, because people, all they have to do is go and type in when that guy purchased at 41 cents and go look at the price of Hex right now. 0.005 cents. Okay? And then go look at the price of pulsechain since launch in PulseX. It gives you that feeling like if you didn't get in, like, damn, I dodged the bullet. I could have bought this shit and lost practically all my money. And then now the founder is evading the SEC. It just is not, it doesn't look good. It has to be the most horrible timing ever. Like, the worst. On top of that, you got clips where Richard's like, a year and a half from now, people that are in, they don't even realize how much better their lives are going to be. Didn't turn out better. It turned out for the worse. And you can see that energy that RG3 had from the beginning, where he's like, rah, 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 like on that rah-rah juice, says, rah, Hex is going to take over. It's the best currency out there, and the banks are going to fail, blah, blah, blah. All that nonsense, right? It's just pure hype, but he's good at it. I'll give him that. And to the end, towards the end, where he's kind of like calm, like, you know, I had to tell my wife things change, and, you know, it's going to be a delay on the champagne and yachts, and, you know, his entire attitude changes because he's wrecked, and even wrecked more now. And a lot of these maxis didn't even take advantage of the opportunities that were given to him, like in, you know, some of these PRC 20s, especially the free copies. Like, if you bought a bunch of wrapped Bitcoin, the PRC 20 version and PDI and all that, you made a lot of pulse chain. And that's what I did to double and triple the stack, you know, a few months back, because I was ultra wrecked. And that's how I was able to break even. And then I made those recent moves back in late October to go into Titan X and make all my money back. And now, you know, I'm Gucci. But the maxis are like feeling it the worst. And this movie just has to really hit them too, like it hit me, where they're like, oh, this is embarrassing. Because it is embarrassing. You know, you don't have the founder of Ripple evading the SEC. They went to battle with them. You don't see any other cryptocurrency out there where the founder is being called a scammer, being called out for having an illegal, you know, crowdfunding known as a sacrifice, and not facing the music and trying to at least fight for, you know, the right for the SEC to know that, you know, if you truly believe it's not a security, wasn't a security sale, that you have the proof and you have the lawyers. I mean, Richard could have hired the most expensive lawyers in the world have been at that court date on November 28th, or however he was supposed to present himself, and start the process. Instead, he's like, we're going to take down this website, make it decentralized. You can run on your computer. I'm going to run away. They're not going to be able to serve me. Just everything that you would wish he never did that's affecting the price of pulsechain, Hex, and everything. So I think the movie, all I can think about was how wrecked people are, how wrecked I was, and I'm glad I made the moves I did with the PRC 20s, but I really feel bad for the RH Maxis that put all their faith and all their eggs in these baskets like PulseX, and Hex, and are diehards. And I see that they don't have enough experience to know how to make more. It's like when people bought Bitcoin and they were buying it early, like myself. I was buying Bitcoin at $250. I was able to sell at a very, very expensive price. But those that bought late, you had to figure out how to make more of it, how to yield more, how to do it securely, how to do it, you know, while keeping your keys, not your crypto. DeFi allowed you to go in and out and dollar cost average into Ethereum and Bitcoin if you're smart about it. But they're not positioning themselves to have more Hex. They are staking it, right? It's like the Bronx Tale where the little boy goes, Sonny was right, Dad. The working man's a sucker. Well, in this case, the staking man's a sucker, because if you're in the 555 club, or the 5,555 day club, you're not experiencing any of the gains that happen all-time highs because you're not liquid. They're holding it. And you're earning interest that are worth peanuts now. There was a guy with the phone who's like, my account's worth $10 million in Hex, and this is my yield, 40% per year. The 40% APR is for a 15-year stake. You're not getting that on a 1 year, 6 month, 1 month stake, 2 year, 3 year. That doesn't apply. And it doesn't say that anywhere in the fucking website either. You're not getting that APR, that 40%, unless you're staked for the max, okay? Then you got to realize that Hex won't even probably be relevant in 15 fucking years. Technology moves way too fast for that to be relevant still. You have to make the money now in the early days because it's not the next Bitcoin, all right? Bitcoin was the most disruptive technology in the world as far as the first ever blockchain created. So, of course, it has a longer shelf life and lifespan, even though it's old tech. But to believe Hex is going to be that, the way the founder's acting, because he is the face, it's centralized with the OA address owning 89 to 90% of the tokens. It is what it is. You can't deny it, but the narrative is going to be, at this point, oh, the movie's out, more eyes on it, and all the maxis are trying to pump their bags, and you'll notice this. That's why I told you in yesterday's video. I mentioned I saw all the influencers right before I sold, and it was at 0.00007 pulse. That was the value. They're like, it's going to sack price. I said, I need to sell because they're trying to trick people. They're trying to manipulate. They're trying to pump it and believe that people are going to see sack price to buy now and then dump. And sure enough, that's what happened. Sure enough. I think most people got suckered during the bridge phase. Remember when you couldn't bridge over? It would take like hours, days, some cases a week. So let's say you were bridging over to Ethereum or you were bridging over from Ethereum when pulsechain first launched, $100,000. And it took 4 days to get there. At whatever price Pulse was, which it was above sack price a little bit at some points during that time, you were going to feel that FOMO like, man, people are buying right now. I'm waiting 3 days. Boom, you get in. You lock in whatever price it is. You feel lucky to have bridged over. You bought 100,000 over sack price. You're feeling good. And then you know what happened. It was like the bridge intentionally did that to create that type of FOMO, to make you feel like I'm stuck in this situation. I want this to go through. I want to buy, and I want to get in the pulse chain instead of waiting. If you had waited just a few months, just chilled, would have had better entry. If we had never sacrificed and waited, better entry. I learned that lesson. So you can't look at influencers and see the hype. You got to have the reverse of what they're trying to make you feel and act accordingly to that. If they're telling you it's going to sack price, they're trying to secure some gains on buying the dip, or they're trying to get out at a higher price because they're ultra wrecked. There's no other intentions that I can see an honest individual out there. And I think it's human nature. So the highest of stakes, it doesn't make me feel good about the whole situation. It makes it feel worse. And that's my review, because other than that, there's nothing to talk about. It's just a bunch of hype during the time when things were going well in Hex, before Richard Hart started this whole pulse chain SEC drama. Bear market happens, and then Hex and everything on the RH ecosystem just starts to turn to dust. Literally, I don't know how much closer to zero people wanted to go before they realized there ain't shit that's going to happen until the SEC is resolved with Richard Hart. He's avoiding them. This is strategic. I don't know. But at this point, I want to get out. And maybe I'll come back in a few months. Who knows? Till next time, we'll do it again. Yeah, dog.